Hello, bienvenidos. Welcome back to my channel. As you guys can see from the title, we are doing another duping of new makeup releases. As I mentioned in previous videos, I had asked you guys what it is that you guys wanted to see on my channel, and a ton of you guys wanted me to bring back the series where I am duping new makeup releases. I think this is a lot of fun, and I honestly forgot all about it. I got stuck in like my train where I was, and I forgot to continue this series. This series does help me to not want new things, especially eyeshadow palettes, mainly because that's what I'm duping, and saves me money because a lot of releases now are not as unique as they once were, and releases are so much nowadays that we probably have it, and if not, I'm sure we could pull from shadows from different palettes that we do own. So I have 5, like I normally do, of palettes that I can dupe within my collection. So if that is something that interests you, stay tuned. But first, if you're new, welcome. My name's Alejandra. I go by Alex. I'm an eyeshadow enthusiast with an Ash Project pan. That is something you want to continue to see on your feed. Join us and subscribe. And now let's get on with the duping. Since it has been a hot minute since I filmed this video, or this series I should say, I just want to reiterate what I mean by duping. I don't necessarily mean duping eyeshadow for eyeshadow, exactly the same color and exactly the same formula. This is just a vibe. This series is more like a vibe to quench your thirst for the palette that you are lusting over, but don't realize you probably have it in your collection. So I am here to give you guys options of things that I have in my collection that maybe it'll inspire you to look through your collection to dupe any new releases. And like I mentioned in the intro, I mainly do eyeshadow palettes because that's what I own the most, and that is what I am more familiar with and can really tell you guys what I have and why I'm not buying them versus everything else, because I really don't buy anything else, as you guys can see from my previous reviews and things that I've done. So let's get right into it. I'm going to be looking down because I have my photos here and all the information that I have. All right, I'm going to get into the first one, but I should mention all these are from the last month's release. So I try to do previous releases within a month. I don't try to go too far, but within a month. So these are all February releases, at least I think they are. So the first one I want to share with you guys is ColourPop. Shocker, you guys. We can dupe them within their own collections or throughout our own other makeup that we have. They're just very easily dupable. So, and we're all on board with how much they release. So I'm sure most of us are duping their stuff. So I'm gonna dupe them with 2 different palettes. This is the Darth Vader Inspired Pressed Powder palette. It is a 9-pan palette. I'm not into Star Wars, even though I do have both of their Star Wars palettes. But you guys, this is to me a bunch of cool tone, grays, taupey shades with 1 purple and a red. If you take out the red, to me it's overall the palette to me is boring. I'm not interested at all whatsoever. If I were to try to get this vibe, I have 2 palettes that I can share with you guys that quench that thirst where I'm like, okay, well maybe the red or maybe the purple might interest me, but the rest of the palette I'm not that interested in. So the first one is from Juvia's Place. This is the Festival. This one gives me that red that I'm interested in, that grayish color, but I have other shades in here, like see how I have these reds and the gold down here and the white from the white. So I'm getting vibes from this one, and I prefer this color story versus that one. This one gives me at least some pops of colors in there where I'm gonna have fun with it versus the one that ColourPop is releasing. I don't know. This is as close as I would get to a gray black kind of family story, like with the gray and the black. Like this is as far as I'd go. So this is my first palette that I would say is very close to that. The vibes, at least what I'm getting out of it personally, I have this, and I rarely use this one. So why would I buy that one? No, not interested. The other one is the Mandalorian palette. I think that this one is super similar with all those grayish kind of tones, except for this one has a pop of green and more of these shades. Like this is more my run for it. This is a newer one for me. I got this last year and I never really played with it yet, but I will say that I like this a lot more than that one. I don't know, that red is really throwing me off. I don't know. I would have put something else there. But again, I don't watch Star Wars, so there must be a reason why that red is there. But I like this a lot better than that. I'm not going to use that one. I'm not interested. I know some people are collectors of Star Wars, but not interested at all. Okay, up next is an Ofra release. This was the Ofra, the Lotus collection. Let me tell you, I don't own this specific ColourPop palette, but there is a ColourPop palette that is almost identical to this. I can honestly say, I'm sure one of you guys own it or have seen it or know about it, but I know for a fact there is a ColourPop palette that is identical to this. If it's not the same, it's very, very similar. I personally don't own it, but I remember seeing it, and if I can find it while I'm editing this video, I'll pop it up on the screen, but it's just very, very similar. This palette was a little bit harder because that orange and the blue are throwing me off, but once I covered those up, it's a very, very simple palette. There's not much to it, and I got vibes off of this one. This is my Silhouette Boutique's Caramel palette. It's not identical, but the purple, like the deeper shades that they're going for are more over here. It doesn't have a black, but it just gives me like this section right here gives me that bluish periwinkle purple right here. It has like oranges, which is showing you. It has like those reddish shades. It has the green in there. So I kind of feel like this one is giving me more, like I prefer this one. It's more rich in its formula, in its color story. I definitely go for this one. I don't know. But there is a ColourPop palette that is identical to that. So it doesn't wow me. It doesn't excite me. It doesn't give me like that. Not even for me being a neutral lover as well, does it catch my attention at all. All right, this one, I don't know. This one did not shock me, you guys. It really did not shock me. I was waiting for a palette from this brand to look exactly like one of my top favorite brands that I own. I'm not surprised. In the least am I not surprised. This is the Clarity Cosmetics The Bloom palette. And it's even the name. Even the name. You guys, that palette is these two. Even in its packaging, it's so sad. It's just a mixture of the Vivid Rose and the Vintage Rose. It's just a mixture of these two, basically. All I'm missing is like a blue, which I'm sure I have somewhere from Give Me Glow, you guys. With the experience that I've had with this brand, just go with Give Me Glow. Just go with Give Me Glow. Their quality's awesome. I can attest to it. It's not chalky. It's not drying. The mattes are just as great as the shimmers. Just go with these. If you're into the pinks, because that's what sticks out more, the pinks and the greens, you're getting it out of both of these. And these are awesome. Awesome. My stamp of approval. This one, I don't know if I would gamble with that brand again. So, I don't know. Up next, you guys, this is a beautiful palette. A beautiful, beautiful palette. This is the Ace Beauté Tropical Vibes palette. I was tempted, since I have heard that Ace Beauté's formula has changed. I have yet to purchase a palette from them since their reformulation. I still have their older ones, and I think that's what's hesitating me because I already have enough from the brand. Do I want to add more palettes from the brand even though I don't really use the ones that I have? No. This one did attract me a lot. It's beautiful, but what is attracting me is the greens. I have a ton of eyeshadow palettes that are green, and the one that I would say is the one that's catching or getting the vibes of it because of the bright greens and the darker greens is this one. This is the ColourPop Just My Luck palette. If you look at that one and you're looking at this one, it's basically what I'm seeing, that bright yellowish greens, the darker greens, the brownish greens, the lighter greens. Like, all I gotta do to this palette is add maybe a yellow and a brownish red. That's it. This is I'm content with this. That one's beautiful, but I already don't use this one as much, so why would I get that one? This one's enough. And I do have more that I can share with you guys, but I just stuck to this one because I figured this one is enough to show you guys what I mean, and I'm sure you guys have probably this one or a beach one that was a monochromatic one. There's so many monochromatic ones, and this one's not one that I want to add to my big old collection already. All right, and last but not least, you guys, this is the newest Kaleidos makeup. This is their Smoky Nostalgia full set. It is a beautiful presentation of it. I actually wasn't expecting this from the eyeshadows, and I'm only talking about the eyeshadows when this was released, because I figured this would be something that you would see in January, not necessarily now while we're in February, March, which was a completely different vibe of what I thought. But the eyeshadow palettes are very, very common. Very common. And out of both of them, I'd only go with the cool tone browns because I do not do grays. I could care less about blacks. I only need a few blacks to work with me, and that's the end of that. I could just use a dark brown shadow. You guys, the one that stuck out to me that I prefer a lot more is this one. This is an old school Sonia Kashuk quad in Moroccan Dunes, and I'm getting both of the vibes that I want. This one has a pink one, but if you take away the pink one, you're getting that silver, you're getting that taupey shade, and you're getting that brown. So I don't need it. And these are all shimmer shades, and I prefer this one. Just the formula, this is beautiful. I've come to the conclusion that I love quads, but I don't reach for them. I prefer a palette that has a little bit more variety for my taste because quads bore me too quickly. They may look beautiful, they may be nice and condensed, but for my own personal take, I have realized that quads just bore me. After a few times of using them, I'm over it. I want more variety. I want more options. If you have noticed, I don't really show many quads on my channel, and I don't really buy quads. The ones that I have are enough. I'd rather do like 6 pans and more. And as much as I hate larger palettes, I kind of appreciate the larger palettes because I get variety. This is why I haven't bought any of the ColourPop quads, even though I've heard the formula is awesome. It's just, I can't get on board with quads. It's just, I bore myself too quickly with them. But this one, I don't want it. One, because it's a quad, and two, because I have this one. This one's even better for me. I think I don't care to have mattes because I can use these in the crease as well, because I can wet these to make them look very metallic-y, or I can use them in my crease. So I'm going to stick to this one because this one's been in my collection for a while, and I've yet to even really put a dent in it. I wouldn't put a dent in that one at all. Like in the gray and black one, not interested. Alrighty, folks, those are the 5 new makeup releases that I am duping. Let me know which ones palettes you have in your collection that you could dupe with these. And if you want me to dupe any future releases, don't forget to tag me, and I'll be more than happy to add them in my next one. I'm going to try to do this duping. I'm going to try to do this series at least once a month. If I can get it in twice a month, I do that. But I'm definitely going to bring this back once a month to not only for myself, to get myself in check, but also to help you guys out if you are an eyeshadow enthusiast just like I am. Alrighty, you guys, more videos on the screen for your enjoyment. Until then, adios.